I'm so happy to be here with Ashley McPherson.
Hi, everyone. I might just be a little bit more happy to be here.
I like your blue, Ashley. It's really good on.
You know, I just threw it on.
It looks great. And, you know, I want to learn a lot today about real estate.
Me too.
We are here with Amber. What's going on, girl?
Hello.
She is an LA realtor. She gives lots of advice on TikTok, Instagram, and you know what? She gives the do's and don'ts and talks to us about LA, and we're going to learn so much about real estate. I can't wait.
I'm excited. I literally know nothing about real estate, so I'm very interested.
I know a lot about real estate, and I know how it varies in different markets, and I can't wait to get your feedback on the local area. So, first and foremost, what do you like most about giving advice and information about real estate?
To be honest, I feel like there's just so much that people are just not aware of. It's like you don't know what you don't know, right? You know?
So true.
So if you're not thinking, like if you're not in the market to buy, you know, you're not going to think, oh, I don't have to put this much down, or there's so many programs for me, or if I'm a first-time home buyer, you know, this is what I can do. This is what, you know, anybody can do. And I feel like just educating people on that, and since a lot of people really don't know that, and there's so many people who just think, you know, renting is the only option for them right now or something like that. You know, when it comes to educating people and they have that aha moment like, oh, you can do that? No way, you know? I feel like that's really what sticks out to me.
Oh, absolutely. And home ownership is such a big deal. I come from the world of banking, so I came on the other side. So I used to market for a bank for a long time. So we did a lot of ads for home ownership in different areas the lending side of things. But I think it's really interesting that you hit it on the head. It's educating people, right? Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're someone who wants home ownership and what that looks like. For you know, for some of these people are first-time homeowners in their families.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's getting the word out about that you can do it.
Yeah.
So that's it's really exciting. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you've touched on that you're most proud of or that have gone viral that, you know, you want people to know about?
So one of my videos that actually went viral, I had posted how to buy your first investment property. Because a lot of people, like especially people my age, I'm 27, you know, and a lot of people...
No way.
Yeah.
I thought you were like 20.
27.
She was good.
Yeah, I'm closer to 30 than to 20. But yeah, so many people are thinking like, oh, first of all, they think they have to buy where they are.
Yep.
You know, they have to buy, like if you're living in LA, you know, you see the price point of LA and people get scared. And a lot of people don't really realize the options that they have. So one of my videos that actually went viral is I told people how to house hack. And a lot of people don't even know what that means.
Yep.
Like, you know, when I first heard it, I was like, I don't know what that means. So basically, I said, look, here's how to buy your first investment property. And I said, you're going to do this by house hacking. And, you know, for those out there who don't know, house hacking is basically where you, as a first-time home buyer, you can get in a duplex or a triplex. It has to be your primary residence, so you have to live there for at least a year. But you only have to put 3.5% down with an FHA loan. And then after that, you live in it for a year. Let's say you have like a duplex, for example. Any multifamily will work. But let's say you have a duplex. You put 3.5% down on a duplex. You live in one unit. You rent the other one out. And then... while that time that you're living there, you're getting that income from the other tenant. It's supplementing your mortgage. After a year, you can move out, refinance out of that FHA loan, and then move into a conventional loan, rinse and repeat. And so I break it down like a lot more for people, like when I'm on the phone and everything. But, you know, then it goes to what's an FHA loan, you know, what's a conventional loan? And I'm like, okay, let me break it down because, you know, a lot of people aren't aware of those type of things. So that video I actually had pinned like to my TikTok and it did pretty well, like hundreds of thousands of people. So many people were reaching out to me like, how can I do this? How can I do this? And I'm like, you can do it. And it's not, you don't have to do it by yourself.
Right.
You know, you can get friends to co-sign. You can get family members, you know, so you guys can qualify for more to buy that house. And then also as well, if LA is somewhere that is maybe too expensive for you right now, then you can look for properties outside of California, like, you know? And so I feel like that's a really big thing that a lot of people.
I like it.
Like,
so house hacking.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's an interesting term because I've never heard it called that, but it's cool. It's true. You made it cool. But where it's at is those multifamilies living there for 1 year, like you said. It's actually relatively simple to do. And it's a great thing to do if it's your first investment property or second.
Exactly.
When you're first starting out. Bank that cash, let the property pay for itself, and then do it again somewhere else.
Right. And then so not only does your property go up in value over time, but rent increases happen all the time. Like, people, as soon as their lease is up, sometimes their rent goes up. So it's like, not only can you do that, you can increase the rent time over time,
right?
And still, if it didn't cover your whole mortgage from the beginning, then it can start to cover it now, and then you get that cash flow going.
Exactly.
So.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about, is cash flow.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So when you give advice, do a lot of people, does anyone go on your page and say, I don't know if I would try this, the trolls?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the negative side of sharing
gosh.
this information on social.
I feel like everybody has an opinion on stuff, and it's crazy because people think that I'm a lot younger than I am.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, she's young, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I get that all the time. There's people literally on my comments, and they'll be saying, oh, but you have to make this much, and you have to make this much. This is not doable for everybody. You have to consider all the people who.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a given, because if you can't afford it yet, then just don't do it.
Exactly.
Right. Like, just wait until you have the means to do it. But it's like, if you can do it, why not get educated on how you can do it?
Right.
If that's a goal of yours to do.
And you're just educating people. You're not saying this is exactly what you should do.
You have to go do this right now.
Yeah. You're just like, here's an option if you're learning to invest. Here's an option if, you want to try something a little bigger. I mean, it's just education. Yeah. And don't listen to the trolls. Keep going, girl.
Thank you.
Keep going.
I gotta let it breeze by, because like if I get stuck on it, then I'm just be going back and forth, and I'm like, I don't have time to do all that.
Absolutely. So tell me, how'd you get started in real estate?
So basically, I got started during COVID.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a long story, but like to condense it a little bit, before COVID, I had graduated from CSUN, Cal State Northridge, with my bachelor's in science in kinesiology and exercise science. So it was like a completely different career field. And then I wanted to become a physician assistant and work with athletes, because like I grew up doing sports and stuff, so that was something that I was interested in. After COVID hit, because I was in the healthcare field, I was doing like patient hours. After COVID hit, I was like, I don't think this is for me anymore. Just in the healthcare field.
Was a little crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah. Like nurses were quitting, like doctors, like it was
the
wild.
Demand.
Yeah, exactly. It was wild. And I was like, I don't really want to be working, in a field where it seemed like people were just like overworked, right. And it was like, dangerous, it was before everybody knew about COVID. People were scared, so it was dangerous. So
it was dangerous, and it was the too much work, which is also dangerous on the other side, for sure.
Right. So fast forward, my job, I was working at a chiropractor's office. We had closed for a little bit because everybody like shut down during COVID. And I was like, let me figure out another way to make some money. So I actually, my friend put me on to currency trading, Forex and stuff like that. And I learned a lot about that. And I learned...
Any crypto?
I did do some crypto.
Okay.
Yeah. I still have a little bit invested in there, but it's not like a...
So let it roll.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then after that, so once I learned about that, I learned about the value of the dollar, about finances more, investments more. And then I got into real estate. It kind of switched to real estate because I was watching all these shows, we were sitting at home and I was watching all these shows, and I was kind of exposed to real estate my whole life just because my dad was a mortgage broker. So I was never really interested in it though. So I wasn't
until you realized, man, I can make some damn good money here.
Yeah. So And then after that, like, you know, I started like going on YouTube, like digging a little bit more into it, researching it. And then after that, I just took some courses because to get your license, you have to take a few courses.
Yep.
So I actually started taking courses, and I was like, why not? I took it out of community college online. Once I got more into the courses, though, I was actually pretty interested. It was like a lot of interesting stuff that I learned, and then I applied to take my exam, and then I took it, passed it, and here we are.
You go, girl.
Yeah, thank you. So,
and you're educating people along the way.
Yeah.
So what's your main goal now that you found your career path?
So my main goal is to really educate as many people as I can. Like, I've always been the type to help people. That's why I was like going towards the healthcare field. Mm-hmm. But I found out like now I can help people in a different way. Yep. Because, you know, like I was saying, so many people don't know, you know, it's like so many people feel like they're stuck or like they don't really have a way out. And I feel like home ownership, you know, it's attainable. It is attainable. And like no matter what's going on in the market, or, you know, no matter what crisis is going on, there's always, you know, a way to build that wealth. And so my goal is, you know, just to help as many people as I can. And also, like, for me too, my goal is to acquire more properties over time. And I'm like looking out of state too and getting those multifamilies, you know, acquiring all of those just to be able to, you know, one day not have to work hard like that, you know, not have to, you know, be 40 hours, 50 hours a week, you know. So
it's a really good way to do it. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
What do you think are some of the misconceptions in real estate?
So a lot of misconceptions. So one is that it's not attainable. Like, I hear like that so much. I hear like, nobody can buy a house right now. And I'm like, that's not true. People are buying houses every day. Exactly. You know, and
people are buying lots of houses every day.
Buying lots of houses and expensive houses too. Mm-hmm. But, you know, a big misconception in real estate is that you have to put 20% down for a property. No, you don't. Another big conception is that you shouldn't buy when interest rates are high. You know, that's false. You know, everything is according to your circumstances. Correct. It's not one size fits all.
And you could you could definitely go back and refinance.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's another big one that people don't really understand. Like, interest rates are temporary. They go up and down all the time. Home prices, like, you know, they go up, they go down. And there's also a lot of misconceptions just about investment properties in general. They actually passed a new, they passed like a new law that states that you don't have to put 15 or 20 or 25% down on investment properties anymore. You could put as little down as 5%. Yep. You know, and people don't realize that because, you know, they're not in the market to buy a home, and they have all this in their mind that, oh, I can't do it. It's never going to happen for me. Yep. You know, and instead of, I know like most people are not going to go and research it, but like since people are going to be on TikTok and Instagram anyway, I'm like, let me just make a video real quick.
Yeah, because, exactly.
You know, so smart.
And so how do you get inspired to make your videos? Is it when like you talk to someone, you're like, they didn't know that? I bet other people don't either.
Yeah, that's one way. Especially like people in my age group, that's one way, because a lot of my friends like will ask me questions too. Another way is, a lot of it is like my comment section. Yeah. Like the comment section, like when they post things that are just not true, I'm like, let me make a video about that because that's not true. Sometimes like I'll be just scrolling and then I see other realtors post stuff that I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me do my own version of that.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. And so now that you know the LA market really well and you're into real estate and you're giving all this advice, tell me about some of the things that you would recommend for your clients locally.
Yeah, so like in just terms of buying in general? Yeah,
buying in general, or where they can invest. What are good investments right now?
Yeah, so again, it's like back to what your goals are and what you can afford, right? Yep. But one thing that I would tell people always is to get multiple opinions. So for example, most people, like, they're not buying cash. You know, most people are financing it. And so I always tell people, like, I have a few lenders that I'm well connected with. But I encourage you to get multiple opinions, because what one lender doesn't have, another program a lender might have, to fit your situation. For example, like if you're a veteran, there's a lender that I know that other lenders don't do. They do like refinances, also where they don't do credit checks, and I have to look at it a little bit more, but it's a really good program for veterans too, to refinance.
There's construction loans vary.
There's
lots of construction loans. Sometimes there's a 2-time close, sometimes it's 1 time. Obviously commercial is a whole different ball game.
That's a whole
and sometimes commercial banks and residential banks differ drastically. If you're a commercial bank, there's a lot more wiggle room than if you're a residential bank. So there's just so much to know. And also local banks versus national banks. Yeah. And the differences of financing there. The local banks will work with a person, that has a business or that has, if they're commercial, or they'll work with someone local because they know that, they can trust you. You've been a customer your whole life. Or, things like that. So there's a lot of different things to know. Yeah. In the banking field for sure.
And that's also a good point because I had a client who I was working with, and he had gotten pre-approved with like Chase and Wells Fargo, and I'm like, why don't you like consider like some of the smaller ones, because Chase and Wells Fargo, I'm like, they have good stuff too, but there's so many different options, and you're a first-time buyer,
right?
And that's when I tell people like, look at all of your options as well, because you never know. There's something that could come up that you may not have even thought about, like, oh, I can do that, like my credit doesn't have to be this.
Right.
Like, your credit does not have to be perfect to buy a house at all.
Exactly.
Like FHA loans go down to 580.
Right.
Not saying that you should be content with 580 score, but the 580, that can get you in the door to somewhere. And a lot of people, that's another thing a lot of people don't know.
And it's interesting because I think, this country's built on home ownership. That's truly, that's the American dream, to own your own home and to grow from that for you and your family. And some people feel that it's unattainable if they come from an area where their family's never owned a home. So it's really kind of creating those things that educating those folks that they can do it and giving them that motivation and that passion. Yes. Out of all the videos you've created, what has been your favorite?
Oh, wow. My favorite are the home tours, to be honest.
I love those.
The home tours, because it's such variety out here, like especially if you go to Beverly Hills, right? And those huge houses in Beverly Hills, like there's no cookie cutter house in Beverly Hills. Right. It's all different layout. Like you'll be on the same street. The house right next door to you could have thousands of square footage less. The ceilings are like 20 foot high, and the house next door will be like 10 foot high. It's I feel like home tours really give people that eye where it's like, okay, I'm not really have to be in a box, necessarily. Or when I buy, like, there's so much out there in each neighborhood, and that's the beauty of LA too, because each neighborhood you go to is different. There's a culture in each neighborhood. You go to West Hollywood, and that's totally different from Santa Monica. Right. Or you go to Malibu, and that's totally different from Marina Del Rey, and they're still beach cities. Yeah. And that's what I got a lot of people who are moving to LA from different states. I just had one guy, he moved from Houston to LA, and I had another girl, she moved from Minnesota to awesome. LA. And they're like, what are the neighborhoods? Like, what are some good neighborhoods? I'm like, let me tell you. Let me live.
I need you, because I would love to have a spot here.
I'm about to say you're about to have 2 girls from New York.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We love it out here, so we need your help.
Yeah,
we need your advice.
Of course. And I listed out, I'm like, why are you moving here?
Yeah.
And that's one thing I tell people. I was like, why are you moving here? Are you moving here because you are like in TV, film, and you want to be close to studios? Do you want beach life and you don't have it back home? Yeah. Do you want to be more in the suburbs? Because we got all of that.
Yeah, you got it all.
It's such a range.
Yeah, there's everything that you can think of here. There's the desert that's like is not too far away. There's the beach. There's the suburbs,
Anything you want to do here is here. Yeah. Like whatever life has to offer is here. Exactly. Where we're from, it's amazing. But there's nothing really going on.
No, I've been to New York a couple times.
Well, New York's amazing, but we live in upstate, so it's not too, but we love the city.
We're bringing the life.
Yeah.
Upstate.
And the city's amazing. So I have a couple more questions to ask. Yeah. So throughout your career, how long have you been doing this now?
I've been doing it for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So a short time, but you've been making big strides.
Yeah.
So throughout your career, what have you found to be the most iconic moment in the last 24 months?
I would say, honestly, like the most iconic moment is helping people, especially the people who move out of state. I feel like I have so many people who come from out of state, and when they're like, oh, thank you, like I love it here, thank you so much for your help, like you really helped me out.
Yep.
I feel like that's the most iconic moments for me, because a lot of them find me on social media too.
Right.
And I'm glad I was that person to be able to guide you in the right direction, and I'll tell people, like, if I'm touring apartments or whatever it is, homes for them, and it's a neighborhood that's kind of a little rough, and I'm like, okay, look, this is what's going on here, this is what's going on here, you're close to this, but this is what's going on here.
Right.
And it's like, if you're going to put your head down here and you're going to live here for the next 12, 13 months lease, or, if you're doing
years.
that, then I'm like, this is what it is. And they really like the transparency too. So I feel like that's the most iconic. Yeah,
that's amazing. Amazing. Where are some of the best neighborhoods to live in right now?
So the best neighborhoods to live in. So that again depends on your goals and what you want to be around. I would say, honestly, in the Valley, there's a lot of opportunity in the Valley, which is where we're at right now. The Valley spans from like Calabasas all the way to Burbank, and there's a lot of opportunity there because you can get a property for, 700, 750, like, 3-4 bedroom.
Nice.
As opposed to like the city, if you're like in the middle of the cities, it's obviously a little bit more higher. Encino is really nice. Northridge is really nice because they have great schools.
Okay.
There's the mall, especially like in Northridge and Woodland Hills. There's the mall right there.
That's nice.
They're building that new Rams stadium over there in Woodland Hills. So that's like a gold mine because people's home values are about to grow exponentially again. Pacific Palisades,
love it there.
Is really nice. If you're looking to be by the beach, and it's more like suburbs by the beach. It's as opposed to Santa Monica, which is right next to it. Palisades is more of that family.
Spread out.
Yeah, it's spread out. It's more of that family style living. I would say Culver City. Culver City is really nice because it's very centrally located. You're literally like a jump away from the beach, but also right next to everything in the city. And those are some good neighborhoods. Even going out as far as to Santa Clarita. I don't know if you guys are familiar with there, but Santa Clarita is about 20-30 minutes north of here.
Nice.
Yeah, Santa Clarita, you can get a 4-bedroom house in the 600s,
wow.
600,000s, yeah. And there's a lot of different neighborhoods even in Santa Clarita because that's where Six Flags Magic Mountain is.
Yeah.
There's top-rated school districts out there as well, for those who are moving with families.
Nice.
It's just a lot of factors that go into what makes neighborhoods great. I'm actually doing this. I'm finishing up this LA guide that I'm making for all the people who are moving out of state. Cool. I'm almost done with it. But that's where I'm listing like all the neighborhoods. I'm listing the price points. I'm listing things to do. Parks, recreation, hotspots, restaurants, and stuff like that.
So make sure you check her out. Where can people find you online?
So you can find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube.
Let's go, baby.
I'm on TikTok and Instagram. It's literally my name, Amber Perkins _ and then also YouTube is Amber Perkins. Facebook, Amber Perkins Realtor. Like if you just search up Amber Perkins, you should find me.
You will find her, Amber Perkins, right here on Red. I'm so excited to have you. And thank you for dropping some knowledge. Yeah. If you're looking for real estate in the LA market, make sure you call my girl, Amber.
Yes. I feel like I just learned so much. I feel educated now. Yeah.
See? So from a young...
I did my job.
See? That's great. And you can find me at Michelle Barone online. Check out Red every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. right here on Red on iHeartMedia, the Hudson Valley. Ashley?
You guys can find me at Ash McPherson, 2 H's on all socials.
All right. We can't wait to see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.